TheorySabers.com.
And what your opinion is on like what kind of games in the future you would like to see.
I think this harkens back to his question, which was like they're trying to figure out what direction do we go in. Like, how do we, like elicit what George created instead of just continuing, if they continued those games, man, they'd be making billions. I mean, geez, a Force Unleashed 3, I really think it's just lack of vision. I really think like it's just a bunch of like you said, corporate suits. People are just pushing pencils. They don't know anything about what's going on or what people want. They just see it as like a money-making machine.
Yeah, and it's also like they're just dumb, right? So like they had an official license locked up with EA for like a decade. They break that and bring in Ubisoft. And then Ubisoft delivers a turd. Absolutely. So here's the thing though, like think about that. They break exclusivity for the first time in a decade and they give it to a studio that every gamer in the world knew was on the downtrend. It wasn't the right studio. And Kathy's living in the 80s, so she's like, Ubisoft, and it's not working, dude. It's not working. So they're making poor decisions at the top. There are people right now, like fans probably, that could make games or mods for Star Wars that are better, and yet they're not being approached because of the leadership. So even the Jedi games, it kind of breaks my heart because I love that studio that made those games, the guys that made Apex, but that second game was, to me, a watered down version, which is typical EA, typical AAA budget. It's, they're not making waves and breaking ground. Who the fuck is these days,
The fans.
Yeah, that's it though.
We
like
are.
everybody, they're so afraid, and I understand because if I were in Hollywood right now, I'd be afraid too. Because technology is disruptive, the fan base is super mad. Snow White's about to lose hundreds of millions of dollars. Dude, I would be terrified too. But they're doing the wrong thing. Fear-based decisions are usually made of lack and scarcity. They're not thinking in terms of how do we thrive, how do we find someone with vision and give them a lot of money to make something really cool. They're thinking, how do we hedge our bets? How do we make something that will clearly clear this many units, et cetera, et cetera. It's all the worst kind of thinking.